Raj is Raj.
Curly hair and
quirky grin.
Shy, sleepy,
different,
quirky.
Little confused, little disheveled.
Fashion faux pas.
Tattered pants and t-shirt and his hat.
Roger, what's with the running shoes?
No socks, loafers.
I don't know where the ties started.
The worst ties going.
The best way to describe the ties that Roger would wear would simply be awful.
Terrible.
A little colorblind at times, too.
From the get-go, I knew he was a good man.
He was an angel.
He cared for the people that were around him.
If you're a friend of Roger's, you're a lucky person.
In my life, I have very much to be thankful for from my lessons that I learned from Roger.
He was way ahead of his time.
Creative, out-of-the-box thinker.
Captain Video.
Captain Video.
Captain Video.
His teams were always prepared. He never left a stone uncovered in his preparation.
He was always thinking about hockey, nonstop.
Obsessed with hockey.
Best coach I ever had.
He doesn't know anything about clothing. We've tried to put in an Armani suit once in a while, but he's too cheap. So he gets away with some stunning and beautiful ties, but his real specialty is T-shirts.
He's just famous for casual ties.
Cheap. Awful.
Disheveled.
Shocking. Pretty frugal.
Absurd.
Oh, God.
Flashy, colorful, pink, anything really.
Heck with the neckties. It was always the same blue sport coat, the same gray pants, and he never ironed a day in his life.
And he'd get away with the poofy hair and the quirky grin and have some, Roger humor is just something completely off the map. He'd come in and I don't know who would send him these ties, but he'd sit there and, gosh darn it, someone keeps sending me these stinking ties and I don't know. What do you think? Do you like it? And he could say that it was the most awful tie in the world. Next game, you have it on, laughing.
He used to go and get these deals on these ties where he'd get like 100 ties for $100 or something like that. They would be the wildest ties he possibly could get. I mean, if he had a nice tie that blended with his suit, he would never wear it.
I gave him my Jerry Garcia tie one year because I never wore it. I don't remember who gave it to me. I thought it was the greatest thing he ever saw.
His Abercrombie & Finch rotten out baseball hat, T-shirts, same shorts, and these 250 ties.
Raj doesn't want to wear a tie.
I don't like wearing ties, so it's just kind of my own little protest. All right.
Well, he was never known as Captain Video in Peterborough, but certainly that's where it started. And I can remember some of the old reel-to-reel machines that they used at that time.
The school had gotten a new video camera back then, so we would kind of sneak it out and use it as the new state-of-the-art technology. Right back then, he realized the value in being able to show players kind of the positive things they were doing, and he was always big on showing the positives. I remember the gymnastics he used to go through to get the tape of the opposition, and it would be about a 4-hour ordeal to go through the tape and pull off the stuff that he wanted to get.
When the video first started, it was the same as anything that was new. As a younger guy, I thought it was excellent, and the older guys thought it was horse.
I can remember lots of times I thought, shoot, another video session with Roger, and you just kind of get it over with. But then there were other times where, he would take all the best hits from the game before, build it up, put some music on it, and you'd watch it just before a game, and it would energize you and make you feel you're invincible to go out for the next game.
He was able to take the game and the way that it was played and break it down and make it and put it into bits and pieces and make it easy for players to understand.
He had an excellent eye for using the video as a teaching device, and it got to the point where you didn't want to be on the video, so you worked as hard as you could to stay off it.
He'd have to watch the game after the game. I said, well, what are you doing that for? Because I get a better outlook on it tomorrow. So he just watched the game, then he'd have to hang around till 1 o'clock to watch it again, to come in at some ridiculous time in the morning to look at it for the third time and break it down so he's done before Jacques got in. It was always critically important.
They've got video things right on benches now. And they were laughing at him when he was carting around this giant VCR at junior games.
Roger was Captain Video.
Captain Video.
Captain Video.
Captain Video, they called him. I don't know whether some that was a complimentary nickname and others it was a bit of a shot.
In the famous Canuck-Blackhawk incident in Chicago in the '82 playoffs,
Roger wasn't happy with this referee's work that night.
Chicago had a pretty good lead at that time.
All the calls were going against us.
The referee, I think, gave us 4 penalties in a row.
I was on the bench and I said, Rod, let's throw the sticks on the ice. And he said, I did that before. He says, no, let's surrender.
I look over at our bench and I see Roger holding a hockey stick with a white towel on the top.
Roger Neilson has a towel. He's waving the white flag.
When we came back to Vancouver after the game to finish this series off, the towels came out.
To this day, there's sports fans, not only in the game of hockey, they'll wear all reds or all whites or all blacks. That all was because of Roger.
You know, there's a lot of stories about Roger and hockey and things that he did and people that he touched. But I think the one that epitomized the fact we all knew something had to be done in Ottawa to cast his legacy, so to speak, was his last speech to the team. We were down 3-2 in the semifinals against New Jersey Devils, heavy favorites to win the Stanley Cup again. And Raj was to come in before the game, as he always did, either do the penalty kill for the players and Perry Pern do the power play. And Raj says, Perry, I'm going off the map today. And he stood in front of the team and he said, fellas, I want to tell you something. You've got a chance to do something special, something really unique. But you may not be here again together as a unit. And I've never seen a team more together than you guys. And he took off his hat, he showed my haircut, maybe 90 pounds. And he said, leave it all out there tonight. Don't have any regrets. I certainly don't. Obviously, it was so emotional. The big Z turned and said afterwards to me, he said, you just wanted to go out there and just fight, just compete. Because here you saw this guy, and never once did he complain. And we all talked about it afterwards as a group, players, management. And I remember going to the president of the foundation, Dave Reddy, and reminding him, you know, what this guy has done and what he meant. And there are 3 things that we thought about. Roger, his faith, obviously, his love of hockey, and the sincerity around children that he had throughout the world, going over to Israel, teaching them hockey, the times that he spent with the kids. You talk about a hat trick of fondness. When you put together those 3, it's a winner. And we said, you know what? We need to do something for kids in Roger's memory. And ironically, we all came up with something similar to Canuck Place. And we knew Roger knew very well about Canuck Place because he had coached Vancouver and always talked about how great it was and what a contribution that organization gave back to the community. So on a Wednesday before he passed, I gave him a call and we talked about it. And typically humble, he said, why me? I said, Raj, because of everything you've done. And we want it to be yours. And then he came up with the idea of putting all these different artifacts of his into the house, and it blossomed from there. And here we are in a house that he'd be so proud of. We've already seen 400 kids pass through for pediatric palliative respite care. And it's something certainly that Roger Neilson is up there smiling about today.